Keynote address, Emerging Tech AI and the Future of Work by Mr. Kumaresh Pattabhiraman, Country Manager and Head of Product, LinkedIn, India.
Hello everyone. Namaskaram. Everkum enter Tiruvona Ashamshagal. My name is Kumaresh Pattabhiraman. It's my absolute pleasure to be here today. And I wanted to quickly just introduce myself. I am the country manager and head of product for LinkedIn in India. And I've had a career that spans 2 decades across technology companies, including LinkedIn, Microsoft, and Google. But the most pivotal moment in my career came from a very different point in time in my life. And that's what you see in the bottommost of this LinkedIn profile. And I was working to be a chess player. The first career I wanted to pursue was to become a chess player. I'd invested several years of my childhood into this game, hoping to make it big, until I woke up one day to this in the newspaper. For the first time, AI had defeated the world's best human at a game that we thought was an intellectual game that won't be solved by AI anytime soon. The feeling I had then was, has AI just stolen my career before it even started? And if you can think about how millions of young Indian professionals entering the workforce are thinking right now, it's a similar feeling. Will AI make my job redundant? Now, to answer this question, I have to look also back in time because AI defeated a human being 30 years ago, nearly. And what I can tell you is, one, the chess players who embraced AI became way better than those that did not. Secondly, AI played a huge leveler. What that means is people from humble backgrounds, right here in South India, could now start competing for world championships. In fact, we have a world champion who leveraged AI very early in his life. And even for those that left chess altogether, like me, we had access to mentors, like former chess players, who told us that the skills that you pick up in one field of work can be applied to another. For example, strategy, thinking ahead. Related skills like logic, math, can be used for you not to pursue chess anymore, but maybe become a machine learning engineer. And that's what I did. The world right now is changing very fast. In fact, the world of work is being rewritten entirely. 50% of India's jobs on the rise, they did not exist 20 years ago. So if you were to think of yourself as having a job with a specific title, it's time to start rethinking that, because chances are that that title may not exist in a few years from today. But what will exist is a set of skills that will evolve, and for those skills to be highly adaptable, and that is what you will hold closer to you when these titles keep coming and going. In fact, that is why we at LinkedIn believe that skills is the new currency of work. What does that mean for skills to be the new currency of work? Take a problem like under-leveraged talent, right? We always hear about unemployment. An equally important problem to solve is underemployment, where you have a certain set of skills, but you don't know that those skills can be applied towards jobs that produce even higher value for your company and your country. What we believe is that for India to establish itself as the talent capital of the world, we need to solve this problem of skills and its connection to unemployment and underemployment. When you look at the world from a skills lens, you take all the jobs that existed in 2016, fast forward to today, 36% of the skills required for those jobs have already changed. But what is even more exciting and a little bit scary is by 2030, in 5 years from today, 70% of the skills required for these jobs will have changed. So how do you then prepare for a world that is changing so dramatically? We looked at a report from the World Economic Forum. It's called the Future of Jobs Report. And the good news is that this report projects that there will be more jobs created net when you look at the total jobs created minus total jobs displaced. Right? We'll create 170 million new jobs in the next 5 years. The kinds of jobs that get created include frontline work, farm workers. It includes the care economy, nurses, social workers. It includes several technology jobs in AI, machine learning, big data analysts. And perhaps, in good news for the planet, green jobs are expected to be part of these 170 million that will get created. But along with that, we'll have 92 million jobs that will get displaced. What does that mean? Jobs that are repetitive in nature, clerical in nature, are already getting displaced. Knowledge worker jobs that have a very specific AI aspect of it are getting replaced. The thing to take away from this report is, even though we are looking at a net hiring outlook that is positive for the world, the amount of churn that the world will go through is massive. You're looking at about 22% of all jobs going through some sort of churn through this process. In fact, when LinkedIn did some more research into this by looking at just one skill, generative AI, what we found was that it will touch every industry out there. Now, obviously, generative AI will impact technology. Our analysis shows that 77% of professionals in tech and IT will have their jobs either completely disrupted or augmented by AI. But it's not just technology that is getting disrupted or augmented. You'll see here on this list, you'll see accommodation and food services as an example. The way we arrived at this view of how every industry will get impacted, we took all the skills that are currently required across all these industries. We took 500 plus skills, and we did an analysis of which of those skills are most likely to get disrupted or augmented by generative AI, and this is what we came up with. Now, for a world that is undergoing so much change, what we've lacked is, imagine like you are going on the road and 70% of the places that you need to go to will change in the next 5 years. Can you navigate that road without a map? Right, like now we have Google Maps, we just open it, we pop in a place, we go to it, right? We need a map for the world of work. And that is what we call the LinkedIn economic graph. This economic graph has data from 1.2 billion professionals across the entire world in upwards of 190 countries. It includes the companies that they work at, upwards of 70 million companies, the jobs those companies offer, the skills needed for those jobs, 42,000 skills, and the academic institutions that offer these skills. You're looking at a graph that maps the world's economy. And what is really powerful is that this is not a one-time snapshot of the world's economy. This is a real-time, it's the world's largest network that's dynamic, real-time. It gives you a worldview into what's happening right now and projects out into the future. Because every minute on LinkedIn, we have 17,000 new connections, 9,000 plus more jobs being applied to by people every minute. Right? 90 new jobs are added. That's how we know what kinds of new jobs are entering the world of work. Every minute, millions of pieces of content are getting consumed. Right? So if you can imagine now starting to connect the dots across jobs, people, skills, companies, job titles, the roles that like people hold, the educational institutions that offer these skills, that's where you arrive at this live map of the world of work. And what is really powerful about this view is that we are LinkedIn, we have the economic graph, but we are also part of Microsoft, which has the world's leading AI and infrastructure needed to derive meaning from this graph. And we are amongst the world's most trusted platforms out there. We've invested in deep verification of identities. We have upwards of 55 million verified professional identities, making us the largest trusted platform for verified professional identities. When you combine these, it makes LinkedIn the platform that is able to help people navigate their careers at a time when a lot is changing. Now, it's awesome for us to look at all these worldviews and say, yeah, 1.2 billion professionals, but what does that mean for a state looking to run its own policies, its own set of practices to help its citizens create economic opportunity for themselves? I have a trivia question for you right now. Now, of all the states in India, I want you to guess the state that had the highest membership growth in the last 5 years on LinkedIn. Any guesses? I heard Kerala. Is that the only guess I'll get? You are spot on. Now, Kerala is a state that has 3% of India's population. Okay? But it has tackled many hard problems, such as literacy, public health, connectivity. And it's also clear that its citizens are at this point joining digital-first platforms like LinkedIn at a rate that is surpassing every other state. In fact, when you look at learners in Kerala, those that are picking up a new digital skill, it's doubled in the last 2 years. That, to me, is a sign of a state that is investing in reskilling itself. Despite being a state with only 3% of the workforce, 3% of India's population, it is the 9th largest talent pool with 61,000 software engineers. And the good news is that the kinds of skills that this workforce is picking up, it includes AI amongst the top few skills that are being picked up. Now, these are all just a sneak peek at what we released today with the talent landscape of Kerala. It is a report that we shared today, and tomorrow we're going to be going deeper into this in a morning session where we'll be giving you a lot more of these insights. Now, what does this mean for the state of Kerala? This partnership with LinkedIn, it means that its citizens can connect with 1.2 billion professionals worldwide. Its citizens can apply to jobs. In fact, they apply to jobs thousands every minute, and these are global opportunities, not just local opportunities. The partnership between Kdisk and LinkedIn is a strong sign of how a state can offer learning resources that can help its citizens not just develop skills, which are of course very important, but also connections and the confidence needed to navigate this world of work that's changing so dramatically. Oftentimes when we go through these sort of presentations, it's easy to look at large numbers and not be able to connect to it. But I want to tell you a story of how this is not about changing individuals. It's about transforming communities. I met a young girl called Kusum, who's a first-generation student from Mumbai. Now, she comes from a community where it's not common for women in that community to be breadwinners. They are more often caretakers. They are usually discouraged from working. Now, Kusum was in a family situation where her dad was unwell, her mom was a sole breadwinner, and she herself was shy and not ready to go talk to employers about possible roles she could do using her skills. Enter Link Women, a program that is a partnership between LinkedIn and UN Women. What Kusum got with this program was access to resources that helped her pick up digital-first skills, access to mentorship, which meant that Kusum could connect with someone who could give her guidance at a very important time in her life. And most importantly, when she created that LinkedIn profile, she gained confidence to be able to navigate the world of work. She got a job at Pfizer as her first job after practicing her interview skills with LinkedIn Learning. And what is evident here is that this is not, like Kusum is one of thousands of such women that are going through similar transformation right now. The Link Women program has reached 3,500 women across India and Indonesia, and it's clear when I talk to Kusum that her next generation is going to have a completely different outlook towards the role of women in the workplace. I want to leave you with this final thought that I find really inspiring. Oftentimes you think about the future and you try to predict it, you have a crystal ball and you try to go, this is maybe where the world is headed. Peter put it aptly. He said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. We believe that this partnership between Kerala and LinkedIn is creating that future. It's building an AI-ready workforce that has not just the skill sets, but the connections and the confidence necessary to take on this rapidly changing world of work. With that, I end my keynote